here we are, back in Mittenrahm at the Throne of the Elements, which is finished, as far as I know. I don't think I've forgotten anything. I keep feeling like I have, but I don't think so. The far side of the cliff of the mountain hasn't been decorated like this. There's actually not as much exposed stone anyway, but you know, I suppose this qualifies as a builder not doing the back of the build, maybe. But it is done. I will be moving on from here. I'm going to spend today's stream and tomorrow's stream working over in Sorrenthal, doing some groundwork for what comes next there. But come Tuesday, the beginning of a new stream week, I will be going into the end and beginning my end project, which I expect to take me 2, 3, 4, I don't know, months. It will be a while. It's a big project. Having said that, some of it's fairly straightforward. I may breeze through it, but it's a lot to it, so it's going to take a while regardless. But yeah, I actually don't remember where I left this, what the situation was, what was in place. I think I had planted the cherry trees because I think I was complaining about the way that they look. I don't think any of the artificial ones were in place at that point. So there's a few bits and pieces I know that have gone in since then, and we'll take a look at that. If I sound a little rough, it's because I've been ill. If I start coughing unexpectedly, that's why. I'm mostly over it. It's a lingering sore throat that causes some coughing from time to time, and a shortness of breath. So being the Throne of the Elements, obviously, I wanted to represent air, which is always the big trick. I've tried to suggest that forces of air are essentially holding up the stonework. I think they came out quite nicely. When I was looking at them, particularly in the initial couple of particularly the larger ones, I did start to wonder if maybe I'd use this approach on the tornado over there in the Morel. If I had created a tornado by building several of these twisting around each other in very tight proximity, which is kind of part of the idea that I had and tried to implement, but only after building the shell of the tornado. I think maybe if I'd have done this from the beginning, it might have turned out better, but overall, I think it's come out fairly nicely. So, the decoration of the mountain went a lot further than I actually thought it was going to. I got a little over involved with some of this stuff. Some of it's been stripped away. I've lightened it a little bit. I think a little bit of it is working well, but too much is literally too much. By the time I came to do this side, I settled on just this one big crack across this section, with just a couple of smaller cracks. You know, done some tweaking, some decorating. Made this slightly unusual use of rooted mud, which I'm actually looking at. I realised I've missed a spot. Wow, that's bad. It's not deep slate, is it? What do I need? It should look like this, and I haven't done it. It's bad. There we go. It's a couple deep slate. I think I've got everything else I need. This is the trouble when you do things like this, because I'm painting through, effectively doing it all at once, like with the mudded rooted mud, and then I forget I've done it. That's the problem. I'm not coming back with the next layer of blocks. I get distracted. I'm floating around doing so many bits and pieces because of... Look, I forgot this whole section. Wow. It's like none of it's been done since past this point. Ooh. It's just too much. I'll have to do this after I've done my little introduction, my little video clip for YouTube. But yeah, you can see obviously from this what this is supposed to be. I can't tell what I've done here. Did I do this first and then come up and do this? Because it seems odd that I put this in after doing this and didn't use this method, which blends through much better. It's supposed to be kind of damp, I suppose, like water's collected at the bottom. And then some of the water is making this muddy. And then it's wetting the stone, and then the stone is drying out. I don't know how much sense that really makes, but that's what's going on. Threw in some random mushrooms, because I could. I don't know what this is about, but it looks so nice. I didn't really know how to transition it, so I kind of just stopped and like the spare stone, just be it. Like, I have no idea what the concept is, mineral deposits or whatever. I had several variants of this in play. I'm using this because it's coming out of the mud rather than the dripstone, but I might use this again somewhere, but I don't know where. It'd be nice if I knew what it was. I sometimes use the calcite as a literal calcium deposit. Sometimes I think I'm thinking more in the lines of salt, maybe. But you know, just some sort of mineral deposit, layers of minerals. I think we can go in here a little bit. It's a little dark in places. I didn't go in for completely lighting it. It doesn't go very far, there's a dead ends in both directions. And this is a much older piece. I dug this through while I was actually building the Morel still, so this is this goes back to late October, possibly November. But I only decorated it like a few days ago, actually. So you know, there's lighting being put in here, and well, obviously all of the decorative work. There is actually a existing piece of tunnel. There we go. It goes this way as well. Oh yeah, this is the. This cuts through to an actual piece of something, which just lets me out into. Alright, okay, just lets me back outside again. I was expecting that to connect into. Oh, this bit. Sorry, totally the wrong part of the mountain. It's too high. Yeah, certainly wrong. Just random bits of decoration on tunnel systems to kind of just bring them up to the level that the rest of the build is at, rather than leave half the mountain done one way. You know, because that would make no sense. I did consider trying to get up here. Like, I did put some stuff in place. I knocked out a few blocks to make it possible to get up so far. I was thinking about water coming down, but I didn't want to get rid of this, and eventually there's a small hole that I poked through into the top of the hill. But yeah, I just decided against it. So you can get in there. So you can get in up there and come down, but there's really no point to anyway. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. So this just continues down and actually ends up cutting through to slicing through here. And that's a dead end. And this just opens out onto the back part of the hill. And you can see, like I said, I've done no decoration back here. Obviously this is a mining facility, and there's a lot of mine stuff down here that I had plans for. Based on the fact that this green exists, I'm going to assume that these markers lead me to somewhere interesting that I've set aside to build, which Yeah, this is a nice start. Yeah, I can see why I want to put something here. Pretty epic. I forgot anything else. Seems like I'm putting multiple points of markings. Ravine. There we go. Yeah, this is just so much work. You know, so when I'm good breezing through it in creative mode, and wow. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see why I want to build something here. But, you know, like I was in the middle of saying, it's a lot of work. Redressing a surface is a lot of work. You've got to knock out blocks just to put them straight back where they were. It's not like building a house where you're just creating fresh. Because we've got two ravines cutting through each other, and I don't even remember how I got in, so that's going to be interesting to get back out of the game. And yeah, there we go. 3 ravines, I think. Is that 3? Yeah, I can see why I marked this place. This is epic. Just epic. Wow. Oh, there we go. Where am I? Yeah, there we see. Massive mess of tunnels down there. But, so, on that note, first thing I'm probably going to do is, other than finish that that piece of decoration that I've overlooked, I got to sort this book out. It's about the Throne of the Elements. I'm going to try to do this now for every build, and put it in the Library of Gnosis. I've already done it for the Morel. It's the first time I did it. Obviously, I would need to start working the back catalogue of locations that have been done over the last 10 years. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to force myself to come up with ideas. I think about it while I'm building, rather than sit there afterwards struggling to find an angle. This is the one for the Morel, just having to be carrying it. Anyway, that's pretty much everything that there was to see. Yeah. I shall say adieu, and see you in the end.